Hey everybody, Mom's back here again because I want to tell you about an experience that I had on my Louisville trip in the beginning of July. It was one of the one of the more unique experiences that I've had so far. And what I want to talk to you about today and do a little review on is Whiskey Thief. Now, Whiskey Thief is very unique if you haven't been. They are located in what they call the Nulu district. Their tasting room is in Louisville. They're down towards like the end of Whiskey Row, kind of like in that Angel's Envy area if you've ever been to Whiskey Row. And their distillery is located in Franklin County, Kentucky. So they don't do the distilling there at all at their Louisville tasting room. But what they do that is very cool is that you get your samples when you do their tasting experience right from the barrel. It was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. They had like 5 barrels lined up. I got this cool look at this little baby Glencairn type glass from Whiskey Thief that came with my tasting experience. But yeah, it was just so unique. I mean, they literally pull it right from the barrel and give you a little sample in your tasting glass, and also you can bottle your own from the barrel. Like this that I got, I actually got to pull it right from the barrel that I chose. So let's get into what I actually chose. So what I did was I picked barrel number 3. This is, and it's a shame you can't see it, but there's actually, I don't know, can you see a little piece of char from the barrel floating there? Yeah, so definitely came from the barrel. But so this is their Kentucky Straight Bourbon. It's 115.6 proof. They like the bottle itself outside of their labeling is, blank. I like this ribbon, and when they seal it for you, they add that all on. So they give you a thieving date is what they call it, because you're thieving from their barrels. Mine was done on 7/3, so it was one of the first ones that actually, it was the very first place I stopped when I got into Louisville on July 3rd. This is a 5-year. The mash bill is 78% corn, 12% rye, and 10% malted barley. To me, there's a little bit of a mystery with them, a little bit, outside of knowing the mash bill and, it being 5 years. There's, and the fact that it's a straight bourbon whiskey, there's nothing else except that it came from barrel number 3. So that's just kind of the way they do things. So let's get into this. This is only going to be my 3rd pour out of this because the other thing, let me tell you a little story here. So I had been searching for Whiskey Thief here in Ohio, and my favorite place, the Party Source down in northern Kentucky, and I could not find it to save my life. And it's just like, okay, I guess I'm just missing, their releases. They must, sell out really quickly. No, that's not it at all. No, what it is you literally can only get Whiskey Thief if you go to their tasting room in Louisville and thieve from the barrel like I did, or if you go down to their Franklin County distillery. It's the only way you can get Whiskey Thief. They do not distribute anywhere, not even in Kentucky. So I'm like, well, no wonder I couldn't find them anywhere. So that made the experience that much better because I had heard of them in the from the bourbon community, and it was just something that I really wanted to get my hands on, and so it's like, well, now I know why I can't find it. All right, so let's dive into this. The one of the things about the Whiskey Thief is that the first sniff on the nose always turns out to be heavily ethanol based. The viscosity on it, at least from the barrel I picked, isn't bad. I do have some fingers running down. It's kind of got like a nice little amber look to it. So now that hopefully I'm past that ethanol smell. A lot of spice. Maybe a little bit of herbs. That the corn kind of like comes through, for as weird as that might sound. Again, a significant ethanol smell to it. And I think a little hint of plum on the nose. But yeah, you got to give it a chance because you're just gonna be like with the ethanol on the nose. Yeah, I'd have to say that that's a little bit of a downside, especially for somebody that's new like me, is just have such heavy ethanol that I can't pick up much of anything else outside of, like I said, maybe a hint of plum. All right, let's taste. Now I'm going to do that right away, very quick taste, because this is the first bit of bourbon that I've had today. So I want my mouth to burn. I want the sensations and the tingling, and I want my palate to come alive. So sometimes you just gotta do it. The spice is definitely there. And again, I'm just going to call it a pepper spice because I just can't distinguish whether it's white or black pepper. It's a very powerful taste because of the ethanol that you get on the nose. And again, this being 115 proof, I mean, it's a pretty high proof, but I've drank higher proofs that don't do the same to me. A little bit caramel. That rye is coming through for me. Definitely some, notes of menthol, so to speak. almost reminds me of like when I used to smoke menthol cigarettes. The finish, it does linger. You can the spice kind of like sits there on the finish on your palate. I'd say this is a medium to medium long finish, I would call it. I mean, for this to be 5 years old, I think just with the viscosity of it and how long it takes the fingers to come down, I think it, could appear that it might be, closer to like a 7 year. It does mellow on the palate after a little bit. It's just it's not as complex as some of the other straight bourbon whiskeys that I've had. I haven't tried to open this one up with the lime water. Maybe I should have had that here with me for this video. But yeah, so that's kind of my review of the Whiskey Thief that I picked up and barreled myself down from Whiskey Thief Distilling and during my Louisville trip. I would recommend that if you get down to Louisville, put them on your stop, because it's such a great experience to go in there and drink right from the barrel and to be able to, bottle, your own, that whichever one out of the 5 you decide to walk out with. It was really hard for me to decide. I had narrowed it down to 2, but I ended up leaning into the barrel number 3 at 115 proof. The 750 milliliter bottles, I want to say MSRP on those is right around $100 to $120. It's been a few months, so I don't remember exactly. I want to say the MSRP on this one for me was like about $80. So yeah, if you get a chance, check out Whiskey Thief, their tasting room there in Louisville. And as always, drink responsibly. Cheers.